why I don't spend my salary. In case you are thinking the title is clickbait, I'll give you the answer right away. Because my passive income can already cover the combined family expenses of $2,000 per month. If you are already following my Instagram at HoneyMoneySG, I already gave an update for the past 12 months of my actual passive income, which ranges at around $2,800 per month. That also means with a monthly expense of $2,000, I'm having a surplus of $800 per month. But I know your next question is gonna be this. $2,000 combined family expenses, how can it be not possible? This guy confirmed have some privilege. Now, rather than calling it a privilege, I'll say it's an unfair advantage. So here are some of these unfair advantage that I have. First of all, for two people, my wife and I, we are able to live with our own parents under their house. This is because we are also waiting for our current BTO, which is expected to move in the later half of this year. Second unfair advantage is that we are able to dine out in Malaysian ringgit rather than SGD, because in Singapore the restaurant prices are so expensive, but in Malaysia it is much more affordable. The third unfair advantage is that I know how to utilize discounts, promotions, cashback, rebates and card rewards, which is why I always share them on my Telegram group of over 15,000 members in the Honey Money SG Telegram group. So join us if you haven't. And I know your next question already, $2,000 include what? Does it include everything or only a portion of it? I'll share the breakdown with you. First off is rental/family allowances, because we are living with both sides of the parents, sometimes in Singapore, sometimes in Malaysia. So these combined expenses come up to around 1,100 Singapore dollars for both sides for parents. So when you're living with your parents, you really can save a lot of money. Firstly, you save on the rent, and secondly, you save on the food, because they cook together as a family, right? You all eat together, you all don't have to dine out so much. So is this a privilege? Yes, I'll acknowledge it, as I've highlighted in my previous segment. Because if you just keep dining out, especially in Singapore, it's going to add up a lot to your food costs. And housing and rental in Singapore is so expensive. Therefore, if you're still okay to live with your parents, you are on good terms, I think it's perfectly fine. Secondly, will be the food and weekend expenses, because most of the time during work hours in weekdays, we don't usually head out. We mostly work from home. So that's the unfair advantage. So food is usually home cooked, which means that we don't spend a lot dining out. And the fact that if we do dine out, it is in Malaysian ringgit, because we are visiting Malaysian restaurants. Total expense comes up to around $450. And I know what some of you are going to say, how is it possible one person can eat more than $450 per month? Just for context, I'm going to give you some proof. If you look at this invoice, we spent like 130 Malaysian ringgit for 4 pax dinner in Peking restaurant. This is a very popular Chinese restaurant in JB, and it's not some low-skill restaurant. It's quite atas one. I mean, if you can pay for these prices in Malaysian ringgit, why you want to dine out in Singapore, right? Okay, so next for transport, we come up with a combined family expense of $100. And I know this comment coming in, how can only spend $100 for 2 people? The fact is that we work from home most of the time, so we don't have to take like daily commute on bus or MRT. And the fact that sometimes we are living in Malaysia, so we just drive the parents' car. So most of the transport expenses is mainly incurred in Singapore for public transport, bus and MRT rides. Which brings me to the point that if you want to save some money on public transport, you can apply for the Standard Chartered Smart Card, 6% cashback with no minimum spend. Next up is insurance expense, so that will come up to around $250 in Singapore dollars per month. And that will include some of these MediSave expenses, where it's used to pay for integrated shield plan or CareShield Life premiums. Though some of it can be paid via MediSave, but I will just include the full expense here for transparency. So that will be $250 for both of us. And lastly, telco and utility bill. That will come up to a total of $100. For context, I'm paying for the home broadband fiber plan, plus both of our mobile SIM only plans which come from Zim. Only $10.10 per month, plus you have free roaming to Thailand, Malaysia and Indonesia. So this $100 also include my partial payment to my parents' home for the electricity bill. So if you add up my total core expenses from all these segments, it will come up to a total of $2,000 per month for both of us. And the good news is we rarely exceed this budget, which comes up to around $1,000 per pax. But I need to highlight that this is not including any travel or shopping expenses, because we consider that not part of the core expenses. So there will be a separate budget for the shopping and travel expense. And I know what some of you are thinking. What will happen after I start moving to my BTO flat? There's definitely going to be an increase in expenses, right? Which is true. So I'm going to go through some of these additional costs that will come in after a word from the sponsor. I understand that many of you haven't started investing because your concern might be due to the high commission rate. This is where Webull comes in as a trading platform with very competitive pricing with low commission. From 50 US cents commission per order minimally during regular and extended hours, you can buy US stocks or ETFs at one of the lowest prices in the market with zero platform fees. Then for Hong Kong stocks and ETFs, a minimum of 12 Hong Kong dollars per order with zero platform fees. And for Singapore stocks and ETFs, a minimum of 80 Singapore cents commission and 80 Singapore cents platform fees per order. Other regulatory fees applied. Webull also does not charge any foreign currency exchange or conversion fees. And exchange rates used on the Webull app are subject to foreign exchange fluctuations as per market movements. For the welcome promo for new customers only, fulfill the requirements for funding and trading for the specific amounts and maintain until the specified date, and you can get cash voucher rewards of up to 1,050 US dollars, plus an exclusive Moneybull Interest Booster of 180 days, which could elevate your USD Moneybull subscription return to up to 8.4% per annum return. There is also a transfer in deal for both new and existing customers who have not done any shares transfer to Webull. There are 3 transfer in tiers from 10,000 US dollars to 150,000 US dollars worth of shares, and maintain for 90 days to get up to 2,000 US dollars of cash vouchers plus a bonus of 500 US dollars trading vouchers, plus a transfer out fee subsidy of up to 150 US dollars with my exclusive link. Terms and conditions apply. So don't miss these offers. Use my exclusive link or scan the QR code right here to get your Webull account today. Ultimately, there's going to be additional costs when I move into my own flat with my wife. Firstly will be the big one, mortgage. Mortgage can be partially paid with the OA, but for mortgage payment-wise, I'm looking at $1,200 combined for both of us, including any town council or miscellaneous fee, which has to be paid by cash. Then for housing supplies and replenishments, I'm looking at $100 per month. Additional utilities, I'm looking at $150 per month. That's for our own flat. Then I'm going to add in some additional Singaporean food expense because this time with my own flat, I'm mostly going to dine out in Singapore. So we are looking at around 500 Singapore dollars additionally if we were to dine out in Singapore more. Then for transport expenses, I'm going to add another $50 more just to account for the additional public transport rides in Singapore since we won't be in Malaysia much and driving around. So the additional cost that comes in after we move into the BTO will be around $2,000 if we add all this up. Therefore, if you look at the new core expenses, it will be $2,000 from the previous calculation plus $2,000 after we move in, which sums up to a total of $4,000 per month core expenses, with the caveat that some of it can be partially paid with CPF, be it OA for the mortgage and MA for the MediShield and CareShield Life premiums, which is why my current goal is to work towards $4,500 per month of passive income, which can fully cover the combined family expenses including any kind of inflation. And I fully understand that this $4,000 will increase over time because of inflation and all that, which is why I'm still continuing to work towards my $1 million of liquid portfolio for financial independence and semi-retirement. And I always believe that the way to financial independence firstly is to not depend only on your job salary, which comes in every month, because if you lose your job, you lose your only source of income, which is really devastating for those of you who may have faced retrenchment. Secondly is to work towards a passive income that can fully cover your core expenses, which is for me $2,000 per month currently, and then $4,000 for the move-in condition. And the reason for you to build the passive income is so that your active income can be invested, whether in equities, in stocks, in properties or business, that you can use it to increase your capital size. And this will be the biggest wealth driver to accelerate your net worth. Because like I said, single source of income from your day job is highly risky. You can be the top performer, you can have the highest sales, but when the company is not doing well and they want to cut a department, that department may be yours and then you are retrenched despite your stellar work performance. So you want to have more control in your own income sources rather than depending on other people or other company. So passive income is really very important, which is why I always share about my financial independence journey and the progress towards it. And recently, last year, Zhao Bao interviewed me on the financial independence piece, which you can take a look at what I said right here.